So today we're going to be making a woodworker's Froe, and we're going to be making it the old way out of soft wrought iron, not hardened. It won't have a high carbon steel edge like a lot of other edged tools do. So we're going to be making it just like this beautiful antique example I have. This is a piece of my bar that I'm going to use, and I took this from this antique wagon tire. Wagon tires are a fairly readily available source of wrought iron, although it is usually a poorer grade iron than some other sources might be. But it will be perfect for today's project. I still need about a 1/4 inch more material. But that's looking really good. So wrought iron should be generally forged at a welding heat. When you're moving a lot of material, it's best to forge it at a welding heat to avoid any cracks or other problems. But to get a really nice smooth surface, as long as you're not trying to move a lot of material, you can work it all the way down to a black heat for smoothing the surface, or what is referred to as planishing the surface. I love how in certain heats, like at a certain heat, the grain in the wrought iron becomes very visible. Like right here. There's like a streakiness in that area right there. think I'll go ahead and do my corners next. This is kind of a fun, satisfying part of the process. See? I'll probably do a little bit more tweaking to it.
It's nice.
You see how that corner becomes this corner. So we are getting closer and closer to the welding stage. But the next stage is going to be, I have to thin one side of this. So I have to make this, the cross section here, slightly wedge shaped, because I want the eye to be bigger on one side than on the other. what is it about this angle that I just cannot hit? So I've made a mark right here on the end of the handle so that I can put it back in the same orientation each time. And then I'm just pressing the handle in tight and then knocking it back out, and it leaves marks. So there you can see where the eye of the Froe blade was tight. And so I just take off the wood in that area, blending it into this area, and move on. And by only taking off the wood there, I get a tighter fit. And I want to blend it in as far as an angle with the remaining wood, because the eye is going to go tighter and further. The handle will go further and further into the eye. So this chamfer on the end here, and I've also put a slight crown on it. It's very important for function, because it is likely that the user will have to tighten the handle periodically. And without crowning the end and chamfering it heavily, the end of the handle will split and splinter. So a Froe, like many traditional iron tools, is not meant to be struck with metal. So you're not supposed to ever strike metal on metal with most tools like a Froe. So you make yourself a Froe club, drive it into the wood with the club. And I also don't have another essential riving tool. So splitting wood lengthways traditionally is one of the things that's known as is riving. And one of the things I don't have yet is a good riving brake. And a riving brake is like a log with a fork in it. And you would stick the piece of wood that you're riving down in the fork between the two pieces of the log, and then you have all the leverage you want for pulling on the Froe and breaking the piece. This piece of wood has been rotting a while, so it's not splitting as nicely as a piece of green wood would. Which Froes are not limited to use in green wood, but most projects where you'd be using a Froe, you're probably most likely going to be riving green wood. So this is a piece of oak, like I said, that's been dead for a while. So the thing about a Froe is you can get a very controllable split. Very useful for splitting out parts for furniture, chair parts, or shingles, all kinds of things. Basically anything that you would want riven pieces for, the Froe is excellent. Also works great for kindling. In green wood, especially, you can control the split by which way you pry. So this split here, if this split was starting to wander toward this side of the piece, and it's most likely to since that side is thinner, if it was starting to wander toward that side of the piece, I could actually correct it to some degree by which way I pull the handle. And basically you pull the handle in the direction you want the split to go, if I'm remembering that correctly. Somebody will correct me if I'm not. I think I had that backwards, so you push the handle away from the direction you want the split to go. I think. One of my chair makers will know. So there we go. A Froe for riving.